What's up guys, this is Astranox. In this video I'm going to be talking about the arena meta for defense teams. This is on the global server and let's get into it. I've been counting some of the most popular heroes that we're seeing in the the ranking, the top 100 global arena defense setups. So what I've done is, I counted all that stuff, and that was like an hour or so ago. Bazaar is showing up a lot. We have a lot of, a ton of Fallen Cecilias, a ton of Bazaars. We have a ton of Arbiter Vildreds. Seaside Bellona, yeah, she's OP. She's OP as well. So she's there in most of the group compositions. Martial Artist Ken, Charles, Maid Chloe, Ruel of Light, Crimson Armin, Hurado. Yep, Hurado. There's a few of them. So yeah, this is the top 100, and the amount of Bazaars were 57. 57 Bazaar. Fallen Cecilia. 55 Fallen Cecilia. So I'll be giving my thought about why these heroes are used a lot. And yeah, so if you like this video, hit the like button. Also subscribe if you still haven't. Arbiter Vildred, he's in 66 arena defenses. And I mean, an amazing hero, slap some gear onto him. Moonlight Dreamblade, quite annoying to deal with. You have to deal with him twice unless you can, well, you kind of have to double tap him, or you have to a little bit one-shot him. But still, you have to deal with the Moonlight Dreamblade. He might be paired with Assassin Cartuja, which I haven't seen so many. So Charles, there's only 14 of him. Only 14 of him. Our Elbrus Ritual Sword, quite tanky. He's definitely a threat. With all the Seaside Bellonas running around, with all the cleaving that is happening on offense, Charles has a pretty solid chance to trigger Elbrus Ritual Sword, and we all know what happens is that he uses skill 1 and it triggers skill 2, and he pretty much double taps you and you're gone. You're gone, or at least you've got attack break on you. Maybe you got dispelled, maybe both, and you're still alive, and you're quite crippled already. So yeah, that's Charles for you. And then he also has the attack buff for the team whenever he goes. Seaside Bellona, she is a limited hero, and she definitely is in a lot of group compositions because there's the unavoidable counter attacks that are gonna cleave your team. Defense down debuff being applied to. It's not 100% chance, but still, it's definitely super dangerous. Pairing her with Arbiter Vildred or Martial Artist Ken, like she applies the defense down, and then those heroes, they just go to town on whoever got defense broken. It's just so OP, so much damage. She doesn't even need the attack buff, but if she does have it, oh man, it's definitely gonna hurt a lot. She could be paired with Charles. She could be paired with Maid Chloe. It definitely does a lot of damage. The unable to be buff debuff as well. Martial Artist Ken, there is 29 of him in the top 100. I mean, he's an amazing hero. A ton of damage from his counters. Definitely a threat. If you can't one-shot him, then you're definitely gonna have to take quite a bit of damage from him. And yeah, that's the thing. In most cases, he's not by himself. He's paired with another threat, so you can't just take him out and that's the end of it. So yeah, even if you bring a hero that can one-shot, like a Watcher Shuri, you still have to deal with the other threat. Maybe he gets revived by Maid Chloe. Maybe he has a Ruel of Light in the group. Very strong hero. So, and also the lifesteal from Sigurt's side, of course, is super annoying to deal with. So many times that we've seen, you know, he's low HP and then he counters your face and he goes back to full or almost full. It's quite ridiculous, and he's ready for the next round of attacks. You know, I have him on my third account. You can check some gameplay videos of me using him in Arena, on Europe server, and also in Guild Wars. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Can be used on offense, can be used on defense. So there's that. Maid Chloe, she has a pretty solid kit. Of course, she's not going to be healing like crazy, but she does provide some sustain. And the 3-turn attack buff plus the from the VIP treatment plus the revive buff is very dangerous. That's one reason why we're seeing a lot of Bazaar, you know, but it's mostly because, well, Bazaar is just amazing, right? Not only can he dispel, but he can, you know, apply attack, not an attack break, yes, attack break, and decrease hit chance. It is super ridiculous how powerful those two debuffs are, and he also transfer debuff from with his skill 1. The thing is, he strip you, he removes your buffs, and then he applies unable to be buffed debuff. Also reduces your combat readiness. So much is packed into his kit, as well as the soul burn that ignores effect resistance, which is extremely powerful. So yeah, Bazaar is going to be up for grabs. You know, he's going to be, it was data mined that he's going to be the next banner or upcoming banner. It should be the next one. So I'm definitely going to be pulling for him on my third account. I might be pulling for him on my first account. I'm going to have to think about that one. I already have him on account number 2. Definitely very powerful hero. He is definitely OP. He's definitely OP. The Fallen Cecilia is getting countered by Bazaar. The attack buff from Charles getting taken away. You know, he hard counters Fallen Cecilia. The skill nullifier, the barrier, the immunity sets, of course. The immunity sets is definitely one huge reason why Bazaar is very strong. And I mean, Maid Chloe, attack buff, VIP treatment, attack buff, and revive buff. Yeah, he takes that away, plus applies unable to be buffed debuff. Super annoying. Even Ruel of Light to some extent is getting countered. I mean, her skill 2 heal also applies a barrier, and also her skill 3 applies, I mean, you're invulnerable when you have that applied on you. So he can strip those things off. So yeah, there's that. Crimson Armin, she's not seen so much in the top 100 anymore with all the Fallen Cecilias, but Crimson Armin, there's 12 of her in the top 100 when I checked. So yeah, Bazaar, Hurado counters her, you know, very powerful skill 3, but gets countered. So yeah. And also Hurado, I mean, he's in 12 teams. Definitely a viable option. 3-star hero, you can skill him up, no problem. Now with the stigma change, of course, you still need the catalysts, but very easy and very powerful. Also cuts your healing in half with his skill 2 passive. Super strong for only being a 3-star hero. He was a meme for so long, but yeah, he definitely can be devastating. It can definitely turn the tide of the battle, and he can cut in, you know, with his passive, getting combat readiness, and then he can just like dispel you and push back your combat readiness. Quite deadly. Bell and season ML Bell, I mean, he's not, well, they are not showing up much in the top 100 anymore. I didn't count it, but I think there might be like 2 or 3 of him in there. So the count, yeah, I said that Seaside Bellona, there were 56 of her. Martial Artist Ken, 29. Maid Chloe, 14. Ruel of Light, 14. Crimson Armin, 12. Hurado, 12. And if you haven't heard at the start of the video, I was talking about the Bazaar. There's 57 of him. Fallen Cecilia, 55. Arbiter Vildred, 66. Charles, only 14, but still quite powerful. Maybe in lower tier, he's showing up more often. But, yo, I mean, yeah, very dangerous. The skill 2 and 2, skill 1 and 2 S2 is definitely very deadly, especially when he has attack buff. Those Elbrus triggers, man, ouch. Yeah, so there's some other heroes that are showing up, some different team composition that show up more often at the bottom of the list, but at the top we're seeing a lot of the most popular heroes that are what like I said, Arbiter Vildred's #1, and then it's Bazaar, and Seaside Bellona's right there as well, and Fallen Cecilia. They are pretty much all tied. Arbiter Vildred, there's like almost 10 more in the top 100. He's just so versatile. I mean, you gotta kill him twice, or you gotta use a little bit. And the Moonlight Dreamblade, super dangerous, super annoying, crazy amount of damage, decreased hit chance on the AoE as well. Gets full focus when he dies, deals even more damage. The Soul Burn for more damage, but I mean that's on defense that I'm talking about. But the most popular heroes are just making teams. So #1 is using all the most popular heroes. #2 as well. #3 as well. And then there's some different things happening. You know, we've got a Charles here, Artoria, yeah, using Charles. And then here, that's different. I mean, there's still Bazaar for this trip, because yeah, she's gonna need that Aramintha, ML Aramintha. She's gonna need no debuff immunity on their team if she wanna do her thing, or she's gonna be quite useless. Martial Artist Ken paired with Arbiter Vildred. You've got triple threats here, but most of the time you've got double threats to deal with. Team #6, you see there's the evasion increase from Assassin Cartuja. 15% for the whole team, plus the Moonlight Dreamblade 20%, evasion. So 35% evasion chance on Arbiter Vildred. That's quite annoying. There's still Hurado for the strip, cut-in strip, Fallen Cecilia for extra layer of survival here on top of the evasion, the barrier initially, the constant barriers during the fight. And of course the skill nullifier plus the provokes, can't forget those. But like in most cases, if she's the only knight, she's gonna be carrying Aureus. A lot of these players have very fast Fallen Cecilias, but Bazaar in most cases going first, allowing him to be pretty annoying with those debuffs, man. Very crippling. Martial Artist Ken and Arbiter Vildred, double threat here. The crazy amount of debuffs from Dizzy and Bazaar. Dizzy's not showing up much. I did not count how many there were, but there's less than 10, I believe. Maybe around 5. DJ Bazaar is actually showing up in some teams. So they are probably relying on they're not using an immunity set probably, and just DJ Bazaar is taking care of that, going first. But you know what? Even if let's say a Bazaar goes first, then he could just like remove all debuffs and apply debuff immunity. So that's cool. He might not be built so fast. He actually needs survival, unless they want him to be insta-killed, because his survival is actually garbage, on par with Tamarine. So yeah, and he's of the light element, so if you set him, if let's say you use him on offense, that in this case, all the dark heroes will be attacking him, so he can't tank so much, because you're gonna sacrifice a lot of stats if you're going for pure survival, so there's that. Also, a lot of these heroes that I've talked about are making all these team compositions, but we have Lilias showing up in a few teams. I'd say maybe, less than 10. She's even paired with Fallen Cecilia. In some teams, she's just the only knight carrying Aureus. But yeah, sometimes you see her paired with Fallen Cecilia. Ruel of Light is definitely not showing up much. Bazaar is definitely not helping, but it feels like the cleaving is just so high that they're just going with Elbrus counters, mechanics like Arbiter Vildred that needs to be double killed, the counter from Martial Artist Ken, the debuffs from Bazaar, the things like that. But still, there's no knight in that defense here, so Ruel must be really tanky with Water's Origin. So Crow, I haven't seen much Crow at all. I didn't actually notice this player with Crow. He might be the only one. He's very powerful, but then when you have a lot of Bazaar and Hurados, then what happens is that his defense buff is just gone. But his defense buff is huge. Like, if you can keep it up, you can check my Europe Arena PvP videos and Guild War videos. I use fast Craw with high effectiveness, and a lot of times he just goes first, or he cuts in, he goes before their damage dealer unless they have a combat units booster. But the defense buff is allowing me to survive super long. It's amazing. I don't even have any sustain beside Fall and Cecilia in that group composition that I'm running. It's Martial Artist Ken as well. And yeah, I forgot what the other one is for some reason. I'll remember it in a second. Seaside Bellona, of course. She's OP. The Seaside Bellona, Martial Artist Ken, Fall and Cecilia, and Crow. That's my team comp that I'm running on Europe, and it's doing very well. So, but Bazaar is definitely super dangerous, man. Super dangerous. So other group compositions that might be different outside of the heroes that I've talked about, the most popular ones, we have here Baiken. Baiken is definitely not showing up much, but she's there. She is there sometimes, and it's allowing them to go first, probably followed with Crimson Armin, with the super annoying skill 3 that allows them to, man, like, survive so well, unless of course there is Bazaar or Hurado. So if you can strip that, that's a pretty game-changing move, but if you can't, it buys them so much time, and there's the debuff immunity that's super annoying to deal with. So let's keep going down the list here. Maid Chloe, a very powerful hero. If she's your only natural 5-star Moonlight hero, she's actually part of the Mystic rotation pool. And my previous video was about the next week's Mystic rotation pool that is very strong with Vildred and Maid Chloe and Troublemaker Crozet. Troublemaker Crozet, which is not in any team in the top 100. After he was released, I checked, and he was showing up in some teams, like players were trying him out. Not so long ago, I saw a player using him, but you know, that's not the final list. I mean, there's still a bit over 11 hours left. We might actually see him now, but he doesn't provide enough to the table compared to some of the overpowered heroes that we're seeing in the top 100. So Lilius, I mean, she's very powerful. The skill 3, removing all debuffs, is super helpful. But I mean, her whole kit is just great. A very powerful hero, a meta-changing hero, especially in Guild Wars, more than in Arena, I would say. So yeah, Dizzy definitely not showing up much. That team, yeah, you've got a Dizzy and a DJ Bazaar that are not showing up much. Even Crimson Armin is not a very popular choice anymore, and Maid Chloe too. So that team is actually pretty cool. A pretty cool team there. So a lot of these are, well, we've seen them quite a few times already, so I'm just not gonna talk so much about them really. Ruel of Light, definitely not showing up much. Definitely not as much as before. Ruel of Light with Fall and Cecilia were paired together so much before the nerf, but that changed, especially with the Bazaar buff, man. That's quite ridiculous. Quite ridiculous. So yeah. Here we got, yeah, Clury is here. Falconer Clury, she's here. I mean, why not? You can plus 15 her easily. She's a knight, she can hold Aureus, and she's actually, yeah, she can be fast and very tanky and can sustain herself with the passive regen every time she goes on. You know, that's something that's pretty cool. So they got passive healing from Maid and from Falconer Clury. but we're not gonna see much of her really. There might be another one in the top 100 last time I checked. So these are pretty similar group compositions. And here we got something different. We got ML Sid that can now, I mean, he is second highest speed tied with Celeste. Karin's the higher, the hero with the highest speed in the game. But now he can actually take some of your souls. He can burn 20 of your souls off your team if he goes first. I believe it's with skill 3. So very cool after the buff. He is showing up more actually, even 2 teams down. There's another one there, but the other heroes are pretty, you know, widely used, I would say. But he's showing up, you know, he's showing up more than Troublemaker Crozet, that's for sure. So yeah, Lilius here again. You know, sometimes you see teams like that, maybe they are climbing. You know, maybe they're pushing for Legend rank 1. Or sometimes they just stick in the top 100 because they have, they might have an insanely fast Crimson Armin. Or they have Rose, just super fast. Now with her exclusive equipment, even better. And the damage from Seaside Bellona and Vildred must be through the roof, especially with the attack buff, you know, from Rose. So yeah, you do sometimes see things like that. And they have the protection from Crimson Armin. So definitely very powerful. And they're probably outspeeding most of the Bazaars, whoever's trying to attack them. They're just winning the speed war, which is very hard to gear for. Another Dizzy here, and Ruel. Hongyo has been in the top 100 for so long. I mean, it's almost always there. And ever since he got his Ruel of Light, man, he's just been using her. And I mean, I would do the same thing if I was in his shoes, because Ruel is so powerful. A very, very good hero. I'm sure he heavily invested in all these heroes. And he's been using Dizzy for so long as well, because, well, she's still OP. So why not? And probably have some very good gear on her. Min-maxing a lot there. Of course, fully skill enhanced. And Seaside Bellona, another OP limited. And yeah, I mean, very powerful composition. But we don't see that group composition. So he's running things that most players are not really running. So that's cool. Props to him. We got ML Sid again here with some more popular heroes. Here we go. Mirsa, I saw her before. I saw this group composition before. Evasion Goddess. I mean, she has something like 90% evasion or 95% evasion if she's paired with Assassin Cartuja. Without him, she's like at 80% evasion. So they're still going to be doing damage. I mean, if you do evade, what happens if you miss is that you're going to be dealing 70% of your normal damage, but you won't land any debuff. You're not going to crit. So it's very safe, and she can trade off survival for offense. And yeah, she's definitely annoying to deal with. So props to him for using her there. Bunch of Hurados here. Bunch of Hurados, one with Lilius here. I mean, I'm almost, well, halfway. Let's say, let's try to speed this up. Let's find something different. We've got, I mean, ML Araminta is paired with Bazaar. You need the strip. If you don't have the strip, forget about it. I mean, almost everyone's running immunity set unless they're running, you know, DJ Bazaar, or unless they know for certain that they will be outspeeding you. So yeah. Okay, there we go. So a different hero here. Purgus. Purgus is actually quite powerful now. Even before the buff, I rarely saw him being used, but yo, the counter attack that AoEs plus can stun is very dangerous. Now I believe he scales off of max health, you know, for his damage and all that. So you can actually build him very tanky, and he's still gonna be dealing quite a bit of damage. So it's like Ken and other type of bruisers like that. So very cool here. And we even have ML Ravi. We don't see much of her, but properly built, man, she can definitely be super annoying on a counter set. Oh my god, counter immunity. And she's just building fighting spirit, allowing her to keep on healing herself every time she gets hit. If you're not chunking her, if you're not hitting her for much damage, what happens is that she can sustain herself for so long, forever, and then you might die from the lightning damage from the arena. And that's a pretty cool team composition right here. Besides Fawn and Cecilia, all these heroes are not meta. So props to this player here. Crow is one of my favorite hero in the game. He is very, very strong. I just love his kit for PvP, man. Really great. And also, I mean, he can just hold the front line in Wyvern 11, no problem. And you don't even need any healer. So very cool, very cool. I mean, even for very hard content in PvE, like Automated Tower before he got nerfed from floor 90 plus, you know, he was used, and with S3 allowing him to penetrate their defense, super high damage paired with Isaria, he can do some pretty cool things. So let's keep on going down the list here. ML Ravi again here. I mean, like I said, properly built, she can be very, very hard to take down. I mean, they can build her with like even high effect resistance. You know, she's a warrior, so she can wear Strax's Gauntlet plus a counter set, and with super high HP, able to deal damage that scales off of her max health, as well as attack, of course. So dangerous. And then there's that revive that could potentially happen, but definitely not something that we can rely on, of course. Dizzy here again, Ruel, cool. So there's quite a few made Chloe. Like I said, there were 14 when I checked the list, but as like an only natural 5-star ML hero, she can definitely like be paired with so many different team compositions. She can be in a lot of different team compositions, and she can definitely change the tide of a battle just by bringing a tag buff. The thing is that revive is huge, and the healing is actually quite helpful, especially if she has high HP, high speed. She can keep some squishy heroes alive for quite a bit of time because it scales off of her max health. Some stuns sometime from skill 1 could happen, nothing to rely on, but they can actually land if she's attacking like a damage dealer. If you bring her on offense, let's say, you can land stuns on damage dealers because they don't have effect resistance. So yeah, Jurado Lilius. Bell, ML Bell, definitely not a popular choice anymore because he's hard countered by Fawn Cecilia. What happens is Fawn Cecilia applies barrier, and you've got immunity sets across the whole team, but the barrier is the first thing that gets removed before the immunity set, and now he can only remove one buff. So very, very hard nerf, very big hit. He definitely got a massive hit. Yeah, from that nerf bat. So, but before that, he was he was pretty much everywhere. Yeah, another Purgus here. Cool. So yeah, more players will be building him. I'm sure he will be more popular over time. But I mean, there's so many. There's heroes being not so many, but heroes are being released. From time to time, and it does of course change the meta. Balance patches definitely change things. Well, it did change things for the better. I would say Bazaar was overtuned. DJ Bazaar was undertuned. But I mean, that's for another video. Let me know what you think in the comment section and what you think about the meta in general. Let us know in the comment section. You know, this is for defense teams, of course. There's going to be a real-time arena coming up in December, so it should be quite fun, and I'll be covering all that. So a lot of fun to be had, that is for sure. Did I skip anything? There's another bell here, but you know that's not the top, not the top 50. So we're seeing different team compositions, but really like props to players that have like unique team compositions for their defense in arena in the top 100. That's very cool to see. And what is really cool with a game like this is that you can experiment and just like if you feel like something might just work, just try it out, you know, and have fun with it. Maybe it might underperform, but you've got that like that cool thing going on for you. I mean, you're using something that is not meta. I mean, you might be using one meta hero, one that is not so much meta, and then you've got like two heroes that are not really used. But that's the thing though. Most of the time, some of the top group compositions are the ones that are more effective, more efficient. So I mean, if you are on the same gear level, then some of the more popular meta comps, I mean, they will they might just be better. That's the thing. But I mean, not everything has been tested though. Not everything has been tested. So there's some things to discover. That's for sure. So finishing the list here. Yeah, I mean, Bazaar is just ridiculous, and he's Earth, so that's definitely helpful. You know, Dizzy, Seaside Bellona, those two limited heroes showing up a lot, especially Seaside Bellona, not so much Dizzy now. You see here, speed cleave comps, speed cleaves, and that's the thing that I'm talking about. Made Chloe, allowing teams like that to work, you know, and even work for defense because she's got that revive, she's got the attack buff, she's got a few things part of her kit, you know, taking the spot, like it's basically like two heroes into one, which is super cool. Yeah, I really like Maid Chloe, so I'm going to be pulling for her on my third account on the Europe server. Can't wait to see the outcome of that. I'm waiting for the next rotation though. I'm waiting for that Vildred. Yeah. So another DJ Bazaar, there's a Jewel Bazaar, and yeah, so that's pretty much for the top 100. It does change when you get closer to the end, when the arena closes for the week, but you know, a lot of players might not have the most efficient defense, and they're trying to just climb during rush hour, so it's not the best time, I would say. It has to be before. Even a day before, it gives you an idea of arena defenses that actually work properly. So there is that. So that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Yeah, I feel like I did cover why these heroes were used a lot. I mean, if I look at this list again, I mean, yeah, I did provide some pretty good information to the reason why they are so popular is because they are countering whatever is being thrown at them in offense, right? So if like, that's the thing, you've got some crazy cleave going on offense, sometimes the damage is so high that the only way to sort of like counter it is to just build a team that has so many like counter mechanics. Elbrus Ritual Sword, built-in counter martial artist can, or just counter set to mess up their offense, you know. Having a counter on a Dizzy and she lands, you know, that's the thing. With Abyssal Crown, allowing her to have a much higher chance to land a stun with her skill 1. It's actually a different chance, and it actually bypasses effect resistance, which is a big thing. It's massive, guys. So she triggers a counter, and I mean, counter is not 100% chance, but still, it's a chance. So if you see Dizzy, you're like, oh man, it's gonna be Abyssal Crown counter. She's gonna mess my stuff up. I'm just gonna, it scare players, or if they wanna gamble it, they're gonna go in, and sometimes it's just not gonna go their way, and you're gonna take a win there. So that's why, like, the offensive power is so high in offense that, yeah, Tamarini, Saria, paired with like Bloodblade Karin plus you know, Challenger Domino, things like that, just have so much offensive power. They can pick off heroes one by one as well, or other cleave with auxiliary lots paired with Judge Kise, or any type of cleave. I mean, it might be a Bazaar Tywin, you know, setup with with books to increase your souls, so you can just cleave in so many different ways, and you can boost the combat readiness. You can boost the crit chance by 50%. I mean,